everyone, so today I'm filming a transformation video of an American Girl doll, McKenna, that we found at the flea market a few weeks ago as I'm filming the intro. So I apologize for the delay on this. I found McKenna for $20 in an American Girl outfit, but it was not her original. Now, I had thought about getting McKenna in the past, but she wasn't one of my favorite girl of the years, and so I ended up reasoning with myself I didn't need to buy her. But she has been a doll that I've thought about before, which is funny because I didn't really like her very much when she first came out, but I absolutely adore my doll. She definitely needed some TLC, so that was one of the main reasons why I wanted her. I love to take old dolls that maybe other people wouldn't want because they don't know how to fix them, and I love to make them beautiful again, so I'm really pleased with how she came out. I absolutely love her. This is just her makeover process. I hope you enjoy. And yes, she did appear on my Flickr subtly in my Girl of Today album, modeling some clothes and things, so some people were a little confused about that, but there was just a lot of stuff going on, so I wasn't able to finish editing this video and film this intro until several weeks after I filmed some of the original footage. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll get on to the makeover.
The first order of business was washing the Girl of Today type pajamas that Miss McKenna came in. She did not have her meat outfit with her, but it was an authentic American Girl outfit, which I was happy with. In this laundry tub is cold water, a color catcher, and homemade laundry detergent. If this outfit was stained, I would have put some OxyClean in there, but it wasn't, and it actually smelled pretty good, so it didn't need to soak long. And here I'm starting with her body, not her hair, because this is kind of a messy process. I'm using baking soda, and there's no point in washing the hair, only to get a bunch of baking soda in it. Now, McKenna was really dirty. She had like that oiliness to her skin, which you see a lot with heavily played with American girls. She also had a series of different marks in different colors, like pink marks and green marks. I'm not exactly sure what she came into contact with, but she was obviously a very loved doll. And you can see I'm trying to cover her eyes to prevent baking soda from getting in there, but it's not a big deal if a little bit gets in because I will be rinsing her in a moment, as you'll see. But I'm slowly going through and making sure to scrub each of her crevices. Also the back of the neck and under the chin are areas that were dirty on McKenna, but you don't want to miss. Now, if McKenna was a cleaner doll, like my Cecile that I got over the summer, I just used dish soap on her because the baking soda kind of is messy and it's better for getting offset in dirt and scuffs. Not so much for like just wiping off the surface, dust or whatever. But McKenna needed a deep clean. You could use magic erasers. Some people like them. You just do not want to use those on face paint because they can take face paint off. My preference is to use baking soda because I always have a ungodly amount of it because I love it. I use it for everything. But I did go back and use a magic eraser once she was all clean and stuff, when I noticed I had missed a few little marks here and there because she was loaded. Something about McKenna though is she actually had little scratches in her vinyl because she was so played with, like her nose is scuffed up, and there's nothing you can do for that kind of damage to the vinyl, but I was okay with that. I love my dolls for their scars. If I wanted a McKenna doll who's pristine, I would not have gotten one at the flea market. I personally like to fix up old dolls and give them new life, and their little flaws add character. So I was spending a lot of time scrubbing her, as you can see here, and focusing especially on the fingers because their hands get really dirty. Her legs though were probably the dirtiest thing, and I have a bowl of water, as you can see here, that I'm wiping the baking soda off of every so often and wetting my toothbrush just so I can see if I missed any spots. I make a mess. I'm a very messy person during this process, but it works very well, and McKenna looked way, way, way cleaner just after washing her body and her face. And this took me, 15 or 20 minutes. It wasn't that long. It was mostly just me going over the same areas and double checking to make sure I hadn't missed any spots. So I rinsed her body using the little sprayer that I'm using here for her hair to get all the baking soda off, and I'm wetting her hair, and this is the part where I'm going to wash it. If you didn't know, American Girl dolls have wigs. They are not rooted, and people are always afraid that if they get the top of the wig cap wet or they rub shampoo or dish soap, as you can see what I'm doing here with McKenna, into the top of the wig, that it's just going to fall off. American Girls are made really well, and their wigs are attached very well. Sometimes the edges of the wigs may come loose with age, heavy brushing, or when you boil wash, the heat of the water can loosen up a little bit of the glue along the edges of the wig, but this is not going to make the wig come right off. The glue is mostly concentrated at the top of the head anyways, so if you've ever seen someone try to customize one of these dolls, they have a very hard time getting the wig off. There's a lot of like prying and scraping, and usually chunks of the wig are left behind. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to even be concerned about, say, washing the hair with hot water. That's what I'm doing here. Also, all American Girls are made with Kanekalon hair, so it's a different grade than what you see on fashion dolls. Any kind of like synthetic human hair, human wigs and things are Kanekalon, like American Girl. So they respond similarly to the Kanekalon used on Barbies, meaning that like if McKenna had curly hair and I put it in the boil wash, it would go straight. This is also the same kind of Kanekalon you see on porcelain dolls. However, porcelain dolls you do want to be careful with when washing, because they're usually not glued down very well, because they're not meant to be played with. These dolls are meant to be played with American Girls, so I'm really getting in there, and that's because McKenna had stains in her hair. The little girl who owned McKenna before me tried to dye her hair with little pink streaks. Luckily, they all came out with some vigorous scrubbing with the dish soap, but if they didn't, I could have soaked her hair in OxyClean, warm water in OxyClean, probably not hot, just to reduce the glue from lifting. But as I said, it's not like all of it would come off in one go. And if I didn't want to do that, I could have put her outside with regular acne cream with a benzoyl peroxide to lift them, but luckily this all washed out. I'm washing her hair twice, and because I had to lather her wig cap so well, I really had to make sure I rinsed it thoroughly, because I didn't want any suds in between the wefts. And then you're going to see I'm going to condition her. You can use whatever conditioner you want. This is just the kind I use on my hair. And some people think if you use anything but a wire wig brush, you're going to ruin American Girl hair. If you watch my American Girl collection videos, you can tell they all have nice hair, and I really mostly use that rat tail comb you see for their hair when I'm cleaning them, and even like just day-to-day brushing them out. I do use the wig brush to get up by their scalp, because that's why you want to be careful, because regular combs and brushes can snag the wig cap. That's the only reason you really need to worry, and maybe buy a wire wig brush. You don't want to use those on Addie dolls though, they bald from that. So I'm just starting at the bottom, working my way up. McKenna does not have a part, which is really cool. You can part her however you want, and even though her hair was a little bit frizzy and dry, it combed through pretty easily. It wasn't super tangled or anything, which I was grateful for. And now for the boil wash. Yes, you can boil wash American Girl hair. It's Kanekalon, like I said, it's totally safe to boil wash. If you do dunk them in the boil wash, and they don't really need to have it up by the scalp, you can avoid doing that, because like I said, some of the glue on the edges might loosen, but you can glue it back down. I had to do that with one of my Addie dolls, whose wig came loose just from a little bit of play and age. But McKenna had a lot of little frizzy bits up by her scalp, so I needed to put her, basically her whole head in. Just make sure not to soak the eyes. And you can see I'm repeatedly dunking her and combing it out. They have a tougher Kanekalon than Barbie, so the water can actually be boiling when you dunk them. It's not going to frizz up. And with this grade of Kanekalon, because it can be stubborn, if you have a doll with very frizzy, dry, damaged hair, if you know what my American Girl Caroline looked like when I got her, that's the kind of hair I'm talking about, or Colleen's 80s Molly doll. That's going to require a flat iron treatment. You can flat iron American Girl hair. You can see in my flat iron tutorial, I'm flat ironing Caroline. But I always start with the boil wash, because you would be surprised how many of these wigs clean up nicely. Now, I don't boil wash all my American Girls, because like say with Kit, she's got turned under ends. But if you notice your doll's hair is getting a little bit flyaway-ish, or it's just not as shiny, and you don't want to completely boil wash them, you can get the boiling water going and then just dip your comb in and smooth out the areas. That's what I did for my kit, and it really neatened up her style and made her look brand new. I even had to boil wash part of my Isabel's hair when she was brand new because her wig cap was like tangled up in part of her hair, and when I managed to get it out, it was all like bent funny and really dry and frizzy. So you can boil wash American Girls as much as you want, really. It's not gonna affect anything except maybe loosening up some of the glue. Not a big deal, like I said. I like to stress this because people seem to think that American Girls are much more delicate than they are. You have to keep in mind that while they're expensive, they're made to be played with by kids who are like 10, so they are more durable than people give them credit for. And I have completely taken apart American Girls, restrung them. I know a lot about their inner workings and things, and they're really not that different than a stuffed animal combined with a Barbie. So they're pretty easy to take care of and clean once you know what you're doing, and I was pleasantly surprised that McKenna did not require a flat iron treatment after her boil wash. Her hair looked amazing except for a few little split pieces by her scalp, which I had to trim down, but other than that, she was great. And here I'm just rinsing her with cold water to seal the style after the boil wash, and I'm going to gel her with my diluted gel and water mixture. It's 2 squirts of gel in a color bottle filled the rest of the way with water and mixed really well, and I coated her wig really, really, really well with this. I use the diluted gel all the time on my American Girls because it's a very, very, very light product, but it adds shine and tames their little flyaways because they have connect lawn hair. Their little flyaways drive me crazy when I'm styling them, so I'll usually put some on my hands and like rub my hands together and then smooth it over their hair when I'm styling their hair. That's why their hair looks nice in photos. So you can see I'm just going to comb the gel through, and then she's just going to air dry like any other doll would. Don't blow dry your dolls ever. It's really, really bad idea to like blow dry them. You're better off just putting them in front of a fan because you can burn them if you use the hot blow dryer. The reason I wasn't concerned about getting water behind McKenna's eyes is because of this technique. I always do it, even if I'm sure I didn't get behind their eyes wet, just as a precautionary measure. I hear that the metal behind their eyes is actually aluminum, so it won't rust, but you don't want them getting moldy back there either. So I have my blow dryer here on the cold setting only. Do not use the hot setting because that will melt her doll. And I'm tipping her head forward and kind of blow drying at different angles to get the water out from behind her eye sockets. And then you can see here, if you want to clean their eye, you can take a little rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, put it on a cotton swab, and wipe their eye really quickly, because this is going to dry super fast, so you're not going to get them wet behind the eyes. This also, the blow dryer technique, if you have a doll with glass eyes and it gets foggy, you can blow dry their eyes and it gets rid of the fogginess. I found this out when fixing up a Shirley Temple doll for my aunt. And now I am loosening up her neck string. I used a little screwdriver off camera to kind of loosen that first knot because I'm going to be washing her torso here. I did it kind of a little differently just because she was so dirty. I wanted to kind of clean her stuffing too. So you can see I got her head off and I'm soaking the body with the stuffing for a second, but then I'm going to de-stuff her and then leave her body in the laundry. So after letting her body with the stuffing sit for a minute in the water, I'm just removing it because like I said, she was really dirty, so I didn't not want to clean the stuffing, but then I didn't want to soak it all together for a long time because that seemed excessive. And you can leave the body like strung together like this in the laundry detergent because the laundry detergent isn't going to affect the vinyl. Now if I had to restring Kenna, I would just separate all her limbs out and soak the torso on its own because that would be easier than having the limbs in there, but because she was actually really tight, which is surprising, I didn't need to do that. So like I said, I'm just emptying out the stuffing, putting it aside so I can put it in front of the fan to dry. I'm going to let her body soak for, I don't know, like half an hour, and then I put that on the bed to dry, and then once everything was mostly dry, I repacked her stuffing. So if you do get the doll wet during the washing, it's not a big deal. They dry out pretty quickly in front of a fan like a stuffed animal, so there's no parts in there that can't get wet.
McKenna did not have her meet outfit, as you could see in the previous clips. So I decided to order online because I do like my dolls to have their outfits, especially their underwear. Now, I looked on eBay and I didn't really find any in the price range I wanted with all of the components. So I ordered for the first time off this site called Mercari, which people have recommended to me before, and I actually thought about buying brats on there several years ago, but it was a newer site. So it's a lot like eBay. So I got this outfit for $25. So we got her panties, her shoes, her leggings, and then her shirt.
So cute.
And yeah, she's also supposed to come with like a little clip. Okay, so McKenna needs her ears pierced. So I'm gonna take a pencil and mark roughly where I want them. I have a tutorial on this on my channel.
Does it make you nervous using dolls and power tools in the same room?
No, if it was a saw. I have a phobia of sharp things, so I really do not like using saws. Key is to go in at like a downward angle, and you want to go real slow. And then it's going to go through, and you're going to want to kind of flip. And then,
This is just like when you had your ears pierced in the mall, Dolly.
aren't you glad you...
Except they didn't use the drill on you.
Okay, you want to try to see if you can get them in. Yep. Now on the older dolls, like the Pleasant Company stock dolls, their heads are squishier. Now I have Valerie and Angela are squishy, my childhood Girl of Today dolls. Amber's not because I got her in 2002. But
So she is the harder metal plastic.
Yeah, it's gonna take more times of like pushing and pulling the studs out to get them to free. It was really difficult.
And I noticed it like takes with Angela and Valerie's ear piercings. It's harder at first to take them in and out.
This is McKenna before. She has pretty dirty legs. The camera's not picking up on it so well, but there's also some kind of color in her hair. And her face is pretty grubby. Again, the camera's not quite picking up on it. And the back of her hair. She smells pretty good, but like, this is really dry. But if you see her ends, they're not all nappy, so that's very promising. This is McKenna after. So, as you've heard earlier in this video, we ordered her this outfit from Mercari for $25. It even has her underwear because I like them to have their meet outfits, and I made these earrings. They're pretty simple. They're just little crystals with purple and teal crystals to match her shoes and her outfit. And then this little dragonfly clip I got used in a bin of flea market dolls, and it was perfectly sized for American girls. And you can see she doesn't have any scuffs or anything. She does have like a little damage to her nose and like certain parts of her body, like permanent scratches, but I'm not that concerned. But she's not all greasy anymore. And then this is her hair. It smells amazing and it feels super sleek. And I love how her wig does not have a parting, so you can pull it back nicely like this, or you can do a side parting on either side or a middle parting. That's one of the perks. She did have a lot of little broken pieces along her hairline, and what I'll do to fix that is and I do this on Barbies too, I like pull all the short bits forward and trim them up to as close to the scalp as I can, because when the little hairs poke out, it just makes the doll look a lot schlubbier and it dulls the shine. So that's a little hack. You have to be a little more careful on American girls because you don't want to hit the wefts, but I do that on Barbie dolls too, who have a lot of damage. You know, you just go around the hairline and get any of those little sticky bits that come out. But she is beautiful and I love her very much, and there will be pictures of her on my Flickr. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.